Welcome to another episode of Black Belt Lifestyle. I'm here today with some extremely dynamic individuals. They happen to all be women. So, in other words, two X chromosomes, and just unbelievable people that I look up to. I get motivation from, and I want to talk today about their journey. These are all Hoist Gracie black belts, what it means to train, and I want to get a little bit of their background. I don't want to be in the way too much here, so why don't we just go as we're looking at them right to left. So your name, where you're training now, what got you motivated?
All right.
Take it away.
Hello, my name is Brittany Cook, and I started training Gracie Jiu-Jitsu in about, I think it was 2002. So I was just turned 20 years old. I am going to be 44 now, so it's been a long time. And honestly, I got into Jiu-Jitsu quite by accident. I had always been a gymnast and a dancer. And in college, I was assigned to try a martial art because I had done every kind of dance there was. And I walked in a local jiu-jitsu school and tried it out, and I never looked back. I stayed.
Where do you live? Where do you train?
I train at Hoist Gracie Academy, Fresno. It's actually mine and my husband's.
Okay, so you're in Fresno, California. Beautiful place, beautiful Fresno. Been there. I used to run the adult spine program at the University of California, Davis. So I still, and in fact, tomorrow I'll be flying out to Sacramento. I'll be operating in Napa. So as you guys know who listen to my podcast, I'm a spine surgeon. So that's great that you're in Fresno. Were you born in Fresno?
I was. I've been in Fresno all my life.
Okay. So Clovis or Clovis West?
I was a San Joaquin Memorial kiddo.
Okay. You're surprised that I know that, huh?
I did the Catholic school path.
Okay, yeah. So, but did you do any events against Modesto Catholic?
Yes, them and Bakersfield were our main. Right.
Awesome. Very good. I know that I'm close with Mary and Gina Gallo, and they're both have graduated from Modesto Catholic. Okay. Where do you see yourself going in the future? Do you have kids?
I have one son, and he is 15 now. So.
And is he doing jiu-jitsu?
He does. Not as much as he used to when he was younger. He is actually a competitive golfer, so he is on the golf course.
Impressive.
5 to 6 days a week.
Okay, great. Take it away.
My name is Sophia Koo. I'm from Orange County, California. I'm 53 years old. I started jiu-jitsu about 16 years ago. I started as taekwondo. I grew up always wanting to do martial arts. Bruce Lee was my hero, and it was stand-up always, but it wasn't really allowed for girls when I was growing up. But so I started late. I started martial arts when I was 30, and then just started doing taekwondo, and then it was incorporating Muay Thai and jiu-jitsu at the time, jiu-jitsu self-defense. And then just started to fall in love with jiu-jitsu because I knew that I got the concept of a smaller person being able to use leverage and technique over a bigger person. And that was ultimately what I wanted to do. And so that's how I got started. And then, yeah.
Now, I probably know Sophia the best here. She's encouraged me. She's extremely bright individual. Korean background. I have good friends in my family that actually one of my friends, her father was one of the Grand Masters. When Taekwondo originally came to America, it was called Korean Karate. And he didn't even know that because it kind of got switched. But so I know the path that you've taken because I have a lot of friends. And my daughter, who's 22 now, started out doing both jiu-jitsu and taekwondo. Now you've worked through a few injuries, right? So what's it like? Because as a spine surgeon, as an orthopedic surgeon, I'm always encouraging people to stick with it, I tell people, don't find a doctor who gives you the can't do list. You can't do this, you can't do that, and you can't do the other thing. And always go to somebody who is active, who enjoys something. Because people that don't have a passion in life, it's easy for them to tell another person not to do something. But tell us about a couple of your injuries and how you kept on training through them.
Well, I've always grown up that if you tell me you can't do something, I'm gonna do it. So
I know that very well about you.
yeah, so hence jujitsu was also why I did it as well. But in terms of my injuries, I started with an elbow injury that turned into osteoarthritis, which is in my body. And so that merged into a range of motion. I didn't take care of it. I had this injury starting about due to a hyperextension and Muay Thai injury, and then it turned into osteoarthritis. So I had range of motion issues. I didn't take care of it for probably 15 years. By that time, my cartilage had already broken down, and I had no cartilage. But thanks to Doc, I had one surgery, didn't improve my range of motion. I talked to Doc, and then we were gonna do an injection, but instead he recommended that I get another surgery, which actually has helped now. So now I can actually touch my neck, which is the most important thing. It traveled to my toe, which I have actually just recently had done. It was another injury that happened due to jujitsu, which was I had turf toe, but then it turned into osteoarthritis. Got that taken care of and doing everything that I can. Grandmaster Elio and Hoist is probably my most inspiration in terms of as you age doesn't mean you're dead. And it doesn't mean that you are less vital. Doc is one of my other inspirations as well. You do everything you can to be vital. So I'm looking at, regenerative medicine. I do peptide therapy. I'm also in perimenopause, menopause, so I deal with things like that. I'm also, again, 53. So there's a lot of things that people say, you can't do it, you're too old, all of these things, but there's so many things in terms of our lifestyle and what we do that say you can. You just have to be smart, you have to be more efficient, and not efficient in terms of how you roll, but you have to be smart. Recovery, post and pre is very important.
I learned from the people around me, and I learned from you guys. And I think one of the things you said was vitally important. I think it's a characteristic of the Hoist Gracie female black belts is that a lot of you are here because somebody told you couldn't be here. So I think that's a characteristic, and I love that. I love that aspect. Take it away.
Hi, my name is Ariel Vitar. I am from Guayaquil, Ecuador, and I am 29 years old. Martial arts have been a tradition in my family. Oh, sorry. So this means that English is not my first language. So sorry about the mistakes I made.
Your voice is beautiful. Your tonation. You have a voice that I want to listen to. So keep on going.
Accent in there, but I'm so sorry about that. So yeah, martial arts have been a family tradition. My grandfather, Roberto Vitar, he founded the Federation of Judo back home. And then my father, Roberto Vitar, he who is there? All good? Okay.
Your father.
My father, Roberto Vitar, he was the pioneer of jiu-jitsu in my country. So how did I end up doing martial arts? My whole life has been, I have been part of martial arts family. But it was my decision to continue because I was not, oh, you have to do it. No, I was brought into classes, but then when I was an adult, I stayed. And then I also taught classes, the kids classes, open a women program and all of that.
Where do you live now?
Now I live in Canada.
In Canada.
Canada.
And so I knew the answer. I just wanted to point that out for people listening.
So,
and you have your own family?
Yes, 3 years ago I moved to Canada. And in this part of Canada, there's no like Gracie or Gracie Jiu-Jitsu. I live with my husband, his daughter, and now my 4-month-old bear.
Wow. Awesome. Awesome.
And now we have like a small group of people. We have a small space, and we open a only women program that I teach.
That's fantastic. Fantastic. Now we're going to hear from Wales, our representative from Wales. I just learned today that she learned English when she got to high school, so it wasn't really her first language, which is very interesting. But tell us about your journey.
My name's Leah Greenan. I'm from Carnarvon in North Wales, back in the UK. I actually started karate at 6 years old, but didn't understand English. The teacher was English. My mum wanted me to join because of confidence. But then I stopped because I had no idea what was going on in the class. And then I restarted when I was 9. I've been training ever since. Yeah, and then I started jiu-jitsu 14, 15 years ago. Yeah.
Wow. Now, this has nothing to do with jujitsu, but I'm going to ask you this anyway, for those of you that don't understand. There's England, there's Britain.
So no, there's the UK, which is Britain. Then you've got England, Scotland, Wales, and some of Ireland.
So let's start all over again. There's England, which is just England, and then on the same island, which is the island of Britain, you have Wales, Scotland, and England. And what are they called when you speak of them together?
UK.
UK. Now, what if you add Northern Ireland?
So Northern Ireland is part of the UK.
As part of the UK. So UK is Northern Ireland, Wales, Scotland, and England.
Yeah.
Okay. And Britain would be just England.
No, that's
That would be great.
So Great Britain and UK is the same thing. It's just
Okay, but doesn't Great Britain include places that are all around the world or no?
No.
Okay. All right. I get confused about that.
Maybe when it was an empire, like
Yeah, when it was yeah.
greatness.
Yeah. Okay. Tell us about your journey.
So I started training 12 years ago. A lot of people in here already know my story. I was attacked. I was dragged out of my house by my wrist. I was beaten and just left there.
Wow. I didn't know that. See, I didn't know that part of your story.
Yeah. So I started training after that. I never looked back. I honestly would mostly train with men, bigger, stronger. And I think that motivated me to know if it would ever happen again, I would have a chance of being able to defend myself. So
That's interesting that you say that, because one of the things that I do is I work with organizations that work with women that have been attacked, women that have been trafficked. And these organizations are all set up to treat them psychologically, to help them to get through the trauma that they've been through. But what I've added to that is I've said, hey, I've talked to Hoyce, and as you know, we're building. I'm helping him. It's his school in Sarasota. He's building a school, and one of the things that we want to do is to be able to teach women self-defense that have been through that kind of a trauma, because I think it's important to know that if it happens again, you can defend yourself, at least get away. And so many of the programs that try to address that trauma in the past have not thought about that aspect, about teaching a woman the ability to defend themselves. It's my job as the host of the podcast to kind of push the envelope and maybe say some things that are a little bit controversial, but no. Lately, we've seen in the news a couple of things come up where women were training at a school, and unfortunately, something happened at that school. What is it about the Hoist Gracie network, about Hoist Gracie schools, that makes you feel that it just that would be impossible to happen at one of his schools? Talk about how the Bushido Code fits into this aspect, and maybe we'll go back and forth, and each of you maybe comment on that. And if you haven't said your name, just say your name so that everybody knows who you are listening to this and where you are. So where you have your own school.
Correct. My husband and I, so Michelle Cassidy, and my husband and I have our own school in Macomb, Illinois.
Awesome.
So yes, so as owners, even instructors, it's very important to us to show respect, for others to show respect. We will not tolerate anybody coming in there and being mean. Woman, man does not matter to us. We strongly believe in the code and the principles and the discipline and the structure and the politeness and working with each other, being good partners. We're very big on that.
Yeah, I agree, but
Have you ever had a situation in your life where you've thought threatened and that motivated you to train more, or you were able to defend yourself in that situation?
no, I've never had it. No. I grew up fighting like MMA and stuff. So
I'm sorry?
I grew up fighting like MMA and stuff, so people knew. I'm from a small town, and people
Yeah.
knew us, so we were quite respected. Yeah, but no, never came across that. But we do like a trial thing in our school. You have to sign up for the trial Thursday first, and if we don't agree with some people's like way of training, way of speaking and stuff, we just tell so we're not the gym for you. You need to find a different school. So it's safe for everybody to be there.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. What is the Bushido Code? We've had a couple of people talk about it. What is the Bushido Code?
Yeah, so we run by a philosophy of virtues and way of living. So Gracie Jiu-Jitsu is not something that when we put on the uniform and step on the mat, we start doing. We are living through it with the rectitude, the benevolence, the courtesy, honesty. We live by honor and loyalty. And also healthy lifestyle and how we think. Something that I want to say that happened to us back home is the difference between the Gracie Jiu-Jitsu academies and others. That is not that I think, it's what people say when they come to us. Oh, we tried somewhere else, but here, like it's the instructors are polite, are safety, are certified. They know, they are clean. They are wearing the uniform. No one is taking out their uniforms and be like chest bare chest. I don't know, like because that's not allowed. So you don't feel uncomfortable, right? It smells good. Things like that they have said to us, like how is the place? It's clean, and who is teaching and who is training to. So that's the difference that they have said to us that I have heard regarding the difference.
So one of the things I heard you say is it's important that you're wearing a clean white kimono. And I did a podcast once with a judo Olympian, Marty Malloy. She was the bronze medalist in the 2012 games. She's a friend of mine. And we were talking about infections. And every time somebody that I've seen has gotten an infection, I asked them, so were you training with somebody that had a white kimono, a blue kimono, or a black kimono? Was it white or was it colored? And they always say it was colored. Why? I said, well, because I've never seen an infection at a Hoist Gracie school because it's all white kimonos. And his father, his uncle, Elio and Carlos, they emphasize the fact that kimono had to be washed every day. And if it's white, you can put Clorox in it. And I hear so many people say, well, the reason why I have a blue kimono or a black kimono is I don't have to wash it every time. So I think it's important. And I think that goes back to Elio and to Carlos, the fact that up at the family farm where they had all these multiple washers, multiple dryers, and everybody had to wash their kimono every day. And I think that's part of it. And I notice wherever I am and I go into a Hoist Gracie school, I can smell the bleach. I can smell the disinfectant
The
when I walk
cleanness.
in. And I tell people, when people ask me about training, I say, make sure when you walk into the place, it looks clean. If it looks clean, really clean, it smells clean, everything else, the manners and everything else is going to fall in line and be part of what you're looking at.
I think what makes us special, that differentiates a little bit about, other places or other just I don't want to say activity, is that standard, is that Bushido code of a lifestyle. It really is a lifestyle for us because we have a structure of not just this is an activity that we just come for an hour a day, we sweat, whatever. But it's also the leadership of also Hoist and Grandmaster Elio in terms of how we live our life and that we do things that are honorable and that we are doing things outside of the mat. I come here and not here, but when I train, all the lessons that I learn when I train is off the mat as well as learning confidence in terms of situational awareness. I think I've avoided a lot of conflicts mainly because I knew how to de-escalate the situation. I knew how to not get into it. A lot of that is attributed to jiu-jitsu. A lot of that is because I know not to get myself in situations where people are standing so close to me that I lost the cues. And that I'm not escalating it where we're going to get in trouble. And so hopefully that has made me a better person. And also by leading by example, even at work, it's not that stressful. We have, clear mind, emotional balance, all the other codes, and that has made me be able to bring that off the mat as well. That is also because of jiu-jitsu. And so I bring that attributed to the network and community that we have, as well as to Hoist. I mean, he really has emulated that example for me. So.
Well, I parrot pretty much everything everybody has said here, but I also think and I don't know, I don't want to speak for everybody, but obviously if we're school owners, we want to be able to make a living off of that. But the money is not the most important thing, which is why, as Leah said, it's not a big deal to have to tell somebody this is not the place for you. We're not putting that above bringing in people who are going to jive with the lifestyle, with the code. I feel like we do a very good job as a network vetting and making sure, that we are bringing in people who are going to be upstanding people in the network. So
V, can you add, why don't you introduce yourself? Tell us a little bit about yourself and about your journey.
I was hoping you forgot about me, so I don't have to. I don't have to speak on here. But
The saying, the best for last.
My name is Slovena Zlateva. Try to say that in one breath. This is why I go by V. I'm originally from Bulgaria. It's a tiny little country in Eastern Europe. I moved to Indiana when I was about 13 years old. A few years later, I relocated to California, Southern California, the Valley in particular. I didn't have anything to do, so I just randomly decided to walk into a kickboxing gym just to do something fun and to hopefully meet some people. Well, it was my luck that I met Pat King, which some of you are very familiar with. And the way I started training, it wasn't for self-defense purposes or anything what most people would start. I just needed some sort of physical activity. I've always been into sports. And I would, after every single cardio class, Pat would roll out. He would literally have fold up mats. He'd roll them out on the side and he would train. I didn't know anything about martial arts. So, of course, typical me, I would sit off to the side and I would make comments and make fun of everyone for being on top of each other because it looked so unusual to me. And I remember Pat one day looked at me. He was like, "You know what? Come here, get on the mat. Why don't you try it?" Once I stepped on the mat, that was it. I think the longest I've taken off is maybe 3 months. I've been into it ever since, and it's been one of the best things I've ever done for myself. I've grown a lot over the years because of jiu-jitsu and because of all of the people that I've met. Now back to what everyone else was saying as far as the schools. What I wanted to add is not that it's about promotions, but it takes so long to get promoted under this network that I feel like a lot of people tend not to stick around. They tend to leave and go to other places where, you can get a blue belt, purple belt, brown belt, black belt in about 5 years. And I think that keeps a lot of people away that we may not necessarily want in the network. So I think that makes a big difference. And then when you lead by example, when you do good for others, when you take care of people, you tend to attract that around you. But as far as what everyone else said, I absolutely agree. And focus on them.
I think one of the things that you said is I really feel that everybody that I encounter in the Hoist Gracie group is family to me, and I get so excited just seeing each person's face, looking at their face, and it's just it's a wonderful wonderful feeling to have that you have this extended family. Now, where are you now, V?
So I am in northern Alabama. I moved from Southern California to Gadsden, Alabama a few months ago, and I am now teaching full-time here as well. So jiu-jitsu has somehow, I would like to think that I followed jiu-jitsu, but somehow jiu-jitsu continues to follow me in a way, if that makes sense, which I would never stop training, but it's very interesting how this has always happened, that anywhere I go, jiu-jitsu is right there.
Now you could just tell people that it's an Alabama accent that you have.
Well, this is why you see me sitting right next to the window. I'm kidding.
A lot of people aren't gonna. I think I told you this before, but I bet you don't remember. But I'm a fan of Kirill and Methodius.
Yes, so they created the Cyrillic alphabet.
The Cyrillic, come on, Cyrillic alphabet. And Kirill is buried in Rome in the basement of St. Clement's Cathedral or Basilica, and I've visited his grave there several times. So I have an affinity for Bulgaria and Bulgarian people. So, well, God bless you. I think that's really sums it up for today. And once again, this is Black Belt Lifestyle. I'm Pasquale Montesano, orthopedic surgeon, spine surgeon, Hoist Gracie Black Belt. Thank you all for listening. If there's any questions that you have, you can email them in, and we appreciate you viewing our podcast. Goodbye for today.